Welcome to the Glacially Musical Podcast. It is beer, metal, and swearing. I am not going fast in order to get to the meat of the episode. Of course, I am Nick Cameron, joined by my good friend. He is a little turtley, a little flyy, got some wings. Sometimes he's red, sometimes he's green. Koopa Paratroopa Chakas. How we doing today?
That reminds me of the Kaya song, right? Super Scoopa, something, something. But anyway, I'm good.
I
How you
came up
doing?
with that immediately. I mean, that's not a good choice, but
Well, I don't know. How are you? How was your celebrate the American independence?
we celebrated the American independence by working our asses off at the place our other place. So it is what it is. If you are here to join us for the final episode of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, One Hot Minute, featuring the sexiest man from Jane's Addiction, not a tough competition, but he would win it elsewhere too. Dave Navaro, thank you very much. Here is how we do this for our new listeners. First, you subscribe, then we greet. We greet, you subscribe, then we beer check, then we vinyl check, shirt check, drop a news, and hit the main event. The main event this week, the entree, as it were, is a salad bar mitzvah. Other long words that don't relate to this, the Red Hot Chili Peppers. I am just gonna rock my standard Glacial Musical Podcast pour, which is Urban Chestnuts, STL IPA, or the Stalipa. It is a 9%, 10%. I don't know. It's a big number percent of double IPA, hop forward, malt finish, aka the beer perfectly brewed for me. Finger fudge pour.
All right, I am also drinking a beer I have had often, and many times on the podcast, the Dales
Oh,
Pale
Dales,
Ale.
Dales.
So quickly with the pop, I heard a very loud pop. You didn't.
I heard a wet fart.
Finger fudge pour down the middle.
I'm drinking out of my Blues 40th anniversary. Uh, I don't know what kind of glass this is. I'm sorry. I should know better.
Just made it. Cheers.
Cheers. It's YouTube Hoppy Hour. Man, that is hoppy. Probably gonna have another one after we finish this. But quick vinyl check for me this week. I'm just dropping one, keeping it simple. Apparently, I am becoming a pretentious as hell prog fan, and so when that happens, you load up on Rush. I have 8. I did not realize how quickly I became a Rush fan. I did then. I'm like, wow, I got Yes, I got Kansas, so now I'm stocking up on Genesis. I do have Selling England by the Pound, which I've checked earlier. This one is actually, I don't know the name of it. Oh, this is an eponymous.
Yes, the self-titled 83.
Yeah,
Great record.
it's got. I got this for about $7. I think it wasn't much. I got it in an antique mall. It's got That's All, Home by the Sea, Second Home by the Sea, Taking It All Too Hard. I am.
You forgot Mama. Oh,
Oh, I'm coming home. Nice, clean copy, great shape.
the classic label.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's all I got one corner ding. So this would be a very good plus if anybody's discogging rating this at home.
And how much was it and where did you buy?
Like $7, and I got it at the Antique Mall in St. Peters, Missouri.
Nice.
Just wanted to head out there. I hadn't been in a minute.
I am still plugging through now I'm back on schedule. This is still a March for me, a March check. And this is very cool. Emma Ruth Rundle. This is a record she put out technically last year, but I got the vinyl this year at her show. She
Nice.
played a somewhat solo piano and vocal and a little guitar show with a little backup saxophony. And this was at the Swedish house, the Swedish American house in San Francisco, about 2 miles from my house. This is electric guitar
Wait,
two.
do they have a chef?
No, but that would have been awesome. Electric. Yes, I know what you did there. Electric guitar 2 drowsing voice. And this was
Hmm.
a album slash, like, she recorded a live experimental album and then also did an art book and then also did a custom vinyl release. So she was selling some stuff at her show. I have most of her stuff anyway. She has a new live album out tomorrow as we record this. And this will be today if you're listening. In addition to that beautiful cover image of her, there is the sleeve, which is the very I'm gonna make sure that this is one side. This is the disturbing backside.
Mm.
Very crusty.
Oh,
It's a crusty
that
mouth. They need some
that
Vaseline.
that looked like it could have been like a cenote.
Could be. And then this is really nice. Even though the orange is the scheme of the album, I don't think this is an orange vinyl. This is kind of a reddy looking vinyl, like a cherry red. And this little thing on the label is part of the artwork, also like a ripped out page of a loose leaf notebook and the side B.
Nice.
And again, she has a live album coming out tomorrow live at Roadburn, where she did a full album playthrough of her last album, Engine of Hell. I'm a big Emma Ruth Rundle fan. If the world was a more just and great place, she would be a huge star. No additional check or notes. That was $25 bought from her at the show. Paid
$25 at the show is the right number.
The right number. And it's it's a limited. It's a lot. It's
right.
I
actually got a copy of Dusk, the Wisconsin funeral death doom band, before Death Doom even existed. They did a prep when they got back together in the late aughts. They put out a double pressing of their 2 records, and I got that. Man, I actually need to spin that. It's been so long since I've heard it. But if the world were a just place, all the bands I throw out wouldn't be unknown. You wouldn't yell at me for it because they'd be very famous. But I'll move on from that. My news check, first personal news check. Tomorrow, I am going to go see Grand Funk Railroad, featuring longtime viewer and not friend of the show yet, Bruce Kulick on lead guitar. He's probably never listened, but maybe today's the day. So I will be seeing him with Grand Funk Railroad. It'll actually be the first time I've seen Bruce Kulick play live since I saw him in Union in aught. So it's been a minute and several decades, but glad that he's still out there, still playing. And we are actually going to do a Grand Funk series in honor of seeing this. I chose the smart way of doing it, to do the series after seeing them, because why bone up on their songs before I go? My real news check this week, Neil Davis. You remember that name? Neil Davis, the founder of Creatures Fest, who was financing the second launch of the Vinnie Vincent album, Guitarmageddon, Guitars from Hell, Judgment Day, whatever it's called. This year was the third launch of it. So last year was the second launch. And that was the concert where Ace Frehley, Bruce Kulick, and Vinnie Vincent all actually shared a stage together. Has announced an announcement is coming, which is the best kind of news.
Amazing. An announcement of the announcements.
Correct. That's my news.
I make some of those sometimes.
Watch this space.
Watch this space here soon for something, maybe. Possibly, perhaps.
The announcement of the announcement has been announced on the board. So it's theoretically maybe real.
Right on. I have yet one news piece this week, and it's a doozy. It's not lengthy. We've been talking an awful lot about the stadium tour with Motley Crue. We've been talking about the Discord inside and outside of Motley Crue. Mick Mars out, John 5 in, halfway through the first year of John 5 being in the band. They have planned at least a US follow-up of dates next year. No word yet as to who will play with them. Probably not Def Leppard, but we'll see. Maybe.
Who asked for this?
Apparently, the barbs are still flying between Mick Mars and the rest of Motley Crue. And apparently, all of last year on the stadium tour, no one spoke to Mick Mars for the entirety of the tour. Not a hello, how you doing? Not you, stand on your mark. Nothing. Not a word spoken between them. Brutal. Then Mick, in addition to that revelation, says, I hope to never speak to them ever again. So if you had hopes that this was going to get squashed and they were going to make nice ever, doesn't sound like it. That doesn't mean it won't happen. That doesn't mean their lawyers can't talk to each other to make sure the Motley Crue money train keeps on rolling. But they have really, I don't know if he deserved it, but they're certainly treating him terribly.
I'm just going to say in response to that, my fingers smell like garlic.
Well, gosh.
I cooked spaghetti today and it was
I'm
delicious.
not sure what that has to do with Motley Crue. I was hoping you were going to have some feedback. I guess it's not
Okay.
bad.
Here's what I will say in seriousness. The Motley Crue infighting, outfighting, outhouse, roadhouse, whatever you want to call this, has now achieved silliness levels. These men are grandfathers. They are in their 60s. At this point in time, they should have been able to put everything aside. Motley Crue is presently living their greatest moment. And what are we talking about? Their greatest moment in terms of popularity,
Financially.
fame, and success. I mean, no, they haven't made any good music since 1993. And in fact, these four people have not made good music since 1989. So yeah, I mean, it's been decades of garbage in terms in terms of the wax. But right now, we should be talking about the triumphant reunion, the gods of the earth crumbling, making the mountains crumble and the skies fall again. And Motley Crue could have been Led Zeppelin, but instead we're talking about how these grandfathers are having a dick measuring contest that has been stretched out over years. And
Their dicks or the contest? What's been stretched out? Holy yikes.
well, we all knew who's going to win that contest, but
Tomers on the tongues. The drummer.
yeah, he's beaten the toms with it.
He was naked again recently on the internet. I don't know
I
why
don't
he
know, but who
feels the
asked for
need
that?
to be.
Nobody
No
asked for that.
one, not even his crazy wife. She leaked a picture of him where he photobombed her nude, and it was like, bro, why? Why this? And they took it down, of course.
Yeah. So my opinion on this whole business is basically, sorry, leaning forward, I had a wire stuck between my toes. We are basically seeing these grown men who should be riding off into the sunset and setting up their great great grandchildren for life and helping out, their fellow man. Instead, they're just fighting like school children. And kudos to you guys for making your immaturity the story rather than your return.
Fair enough. Well said. I feel bad. It just makes me feel bad.
There's just nothing they could do to make me feel good at this point, I think, except break up.
I give it 2 more years.
That's a long time.
That's a lot of bad shows.
Yes, it is. They've all been bad.
And John 5, I hope you're saving all that money so you can go back and do something else righteous, solo or something else.
Look, John 5, no, just to be clear, no shade to John 5. John 5 is what he has always been. He is a professional sideman. He is Eric Singer, has guitar, will travel. That's what he wanted to be, and he uses that money to make his records because he loves that. There you go. You got to get paid. Being a starving artist is cool, air quotes, but it ain't fun.
As Reese Bobby once said, it's the fastest who gets paid and the fastest who gets laid.
There we go.
If you're not first, you're last.
Moving forward, we forgot to do shirt checks.
No,
I am rocking my animals shirt.
Right on time with the shirt check. News and then shirt. Check, check, boom, check, check, boom. I am wearing my Marvel Hulk shirt, lean, mean, and green. And it's quite a good shirt. That is the news portion of the show.
Real quick, did I wear my sloth shirt? I've checked the sloth shirt.
I think it was last week, actually.
Oh, good. I almost put it on. So yes, moving forward, let us quickly.
It's okay that these are repeat shirts for us. That's okay. Like
I know, but I don't want to do it 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean,
I don't want people to think I don't wash myself. Also, real quickly, I want to apologize for me making the tassels motion last week. I was told that was not a good look.
OMG, I have no words.
My attorney saw it and had questions.
Your attorney, aka your wife.
Yes, attorney wife.
Be careful, bro. This is why I'm single.
She said, "Oh, I've never watched one of your videos," and I'm like, "Oh,
that's the one she watched, not the other. Some of the other great ones, like Metallica. She watched that one.
That's what came up.
Oh, all right. Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah. Still married.
This is why we drink.
Anyway, so let's pick up where we left off, which is where I don't know who's starting.
I'll start today. So we ended with the end of the release of Blood Sugar Sex Magic, and we stopped right short of this. I like this fun anecdote. Many people know that released on the exact same day as Blood Sugar Sex Magic was a little album. You might have heard of this band. They were a little obscure. They're called Nirvana, and the album is Nevermind, and it came out the same day as Blood Sugar Sex Magic. Now, Nevermind wasn't a banger of sales proportions and hit proportions out of the gate, but Smells Like Teen Spirit did hit MTV at that same time and explode. What else was supposed to be released on September 24th, 1991? Another album you might have heard of from a small band with a somewhat charismatic and handsome lead singer called Soundgarden, Bad Motor Finger. It was supposed to come out on that day, but there was a problem with the album artwork that was already printed, and they had to scrap it and reprint, repackage, and ship many, maybe not a million records, but many records. Blood Sugar Sex Magic shipped 1 million straight out of the box and was gold immediately within like 10 days. Bad Motor Finger then comes out on October the 8th, 2 weeks later, in the form we know now. And
think about that. They repackaged it in 2 weeks.
Could not do it today.
No.
CDs, tapes, and some vinyl.
I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but did not a little Black Album come out about a month before these as well?
That is also correct. The Black Album is riding high at this time as the #1 record in rock in the world. And there's a few others from this year that are also pretty damn
Should
special.
Point out, 10, I believe, was in 91.
Not yet.
Not yet.
No.
Not a fan of that one, but one cannot argue.
Yeah, Pearl Jam's a little bit. Actual arc of their release is a little later. Actually, Temple of the Dog comes out before 10.
It does.
And, and actually, Going Hungry. Yeah, Going Hungry was a simultaneous Hunger Strike. Sorry, is a simultaneous hit to Jeremy, actually, in terms of MTV parlance and radio singles. I'm just fascinated that Nirvana album came out at the same time. Chili's embark on a headline tour. It's funny that you mentioned Pearl Jam because they are part of this next story. They go on tour, and one of the opening bands is Nirvana, and they're the opening band. In the middle is Smashing Pumpkins, who have their own hit album with Gish. And so, like, this inadvertently, the Chili Peppers, we talked about their importance to alternative rock, helps usher in the grunge era. Unironically, like, they actually do it. And then at some point, Pumpkins drop off the tour, and Pearl Jam is made the opener, and Nirvana moves up to the middle slot. So you have Chili's, Nirvana, and Pearl Jam on a world tour at one point.
And what are they playing? Like 1,500 seaters?
I mean, like, this is, Chili's coming off of Mother's Milk, shipped 1 million gold automatically out of the gate and selling like crazy. Absolutely starting to play like hockey arenas and like little baby arenas and things like that, and amphitheaters.
So big theaters and big theaters, little sheds.
But there's trouble in paradise, because as they go on tour and the album sells and the band becomes much bigger, unfortunately for John Frusciante, he already, like I said, if you watch the Funky Monks video, he is practically disassociating as he's making the record. The experience of making the record, the experience of the hype, more industry vulture type people circling around them, much more money, bigger stakes, a lot of pressure. John is starting to crumble.
Let's point out real quick, at this point in time, what is he, 21?
He is like in his early 20s.
Because he was 18 when he joins and records Mother's Milk.
And he had never been in a band. And
right.
then he toured the world and made that record and toured the world. And now he's at a bigger level than he's ever been. So he's not having a good time. He doesn't like stardom.
He has hit the 1% of the 1% of bands.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to think that everybody played arenas in the 80s. No, you were a very select group of people to get to that level. Even in the 70s and 80s, when they were selling a squillion billion records, it was still only about 30 or 40 bands that could do those tours. And all of a sudden, here he is, 18, And in the 80s, all of the debauchery was very much romanticized. That was what you did. That's why parents didn't want their kids to buy guitars, because if you had a guitar, you'll smoke the pot and drink the heron and rub your face with the schneef. So what does John Frusciante do on the road?
Well,
All of those
this
things.
is really interesting because at this point, Kiedis is still sober, sort of sober, not a fall down drug addict anymore, had put together some sobriety and clarity. And now Frusciante is doing heroin, which he had never done before. He had been partying, but he had never done heroin before after Blood Sugar Sex Magic. So now they're on the road. You have a guy in a band who is definitely doing the evil drug that the singer could die from if he gets too much of it.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the band but they're doing incredible, right? They're doing well.
Mm-hmm.
Money's rolling in. So, management, everybody, let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it rolling. More tours and more shirts and more interviews. And John starts kind of taking out his aggression on the performances in a negative way. He starts messing up on purpose, purposefully botching entire shows. They go on MTV. They go on SNL and die a horrible performance. He literally playing a different song. He does Under the Bridge. He plays the wrong notes entirely. He didn't understand that you have to, even if you don't like what you're doing, you have to pretend, you have to play a role and pretend to do this thing called success, called the successful, huge rock star band. Because at this point, the Chili Peppers are at the dawn of this now are one of the biggest bands in the world at this moment. This is their moment. They might have bigger selling records. They're never going to have a better record than this musically, all the things. And so
Gonna go back to that band we can't stop talking about. Jason Newsted of the Metallica Behind the Music talked about the Black Album and how, because the Black Album probably shipped triple or quadruple platinum because that's what it needed to do. That, they had been slow burning and all of a sudden they're now forest fire. No offense, California, Canada, and everywhere else where the world is burning. It's a metaphor. And when that happens, oh no, now Metallica has to play the Philippines. Oh no, well, now we're going to hit Sudan. We're going to go to Uzbekistan. And it's the same thing for the Chili Peppers on a smaller level, of course, because they're not selling 30 million copies of Blood Sugar Sex Magic. But this is their Dark Side of the Moon. This is their Aqualung, which I listened to this weekend and realized I don't like Aqualung. And if I don't like Aqualung, I don't think I like Jethro Tull. And I think I've been lying to myself for 35 years.
I could have told you that. Anyway, good band, not great. Sorry, people.
They're good.
They have a new album out that's pretty good though. But
yeah, they can enjoy it.
Yeah.
I hope all their fan enjoys it.
So all their fans, Jesus. So and the Grammy goes to for metal. The Grammy goes to Jethro Tull.
Oh my God, I was talking about Jethro Tull to one of my coworkers today, and HR runs out of his office and he goes, "When I think of Jethro Tull, I think to myself, there's metal, and we should give them a Grammy." I'm like, basically. I like you, AA Ron.
All right, AA Ron, word. Balake. Anyhow, if you get that reference, you love us and I love you.
Yeah, he's actually got a photo of you done messed up AA Ron on the bulletin board behind him.
Mm.
He got that on his first.
D Nice. Are you here? D Nice. Don't play with me. Nixon has Bill's beer on all over his animal shirt and may be mad at me.
Oh,
so Balake. Things come to a head in Japan where the band is playing their first shows ever. And Frusciante will not come on stage. He's like, I quit the band. I will not play another note with you guys. I'm not doing it. They beg and cajole. Lindy gets what Lindy wants. Lindy gets comes like, you are getting on that stage. You are playing this show. And he gets up there and just bombs the show on purpose. He sucks the whole time on purpose. Can you imagine being a musical genius, even impaired on drugs and sucking so bad on purpose, you can't even do a passable show out of spite to spite yourself, to get yourself fired. So he gets fired. The band cancels the rest of their tour dates. They have a few weeks to sort of a month to recover. Frusciante goes home, sequesters himself in his home, has quit the band or is fired, one of the two, and he's down the rabbit hole on heroin. We'll get to him later.
He loud quit or got quiet fired?
Both. The band.
I was making a modern day reference. Yeah. Quiet quitting. Loud quitting. See?
There's a LA funk rock band called Martial Law, done with two brothers, Arik and Lonnie Marshall.
Oh, it's Arik?
Arik.
I always thought it was Eric.
It could be Eric, but I always think it's Arik the Freak. That's what they called him, Arik the Freak.
Mhm.
And so they get Arik Marshall, who's a very similar, funky, badass guitar player, to fulfill the rest of the tours. But there, it's pretty apparent that he's not vibing with them also, and they try to jam with him, and he's not a jammer because he came from a band with his brother. They're twins. They speak the same wavelength, and it's just weird to then go into this situation. I'm sure he would like to have been in the Chili's. And the band is plodding along, trying to kind of get their way through to the future. And in the meantime, they're so successful that they release 5 or 6 singles from Blood Sugar Sex Magic, including Nick's hated Breaking the Girl, which broke my heart. Yeah, sorry. You will be sorry. And that song is flawless.
I just want to point out one more time, and I will point it out 500 more times for as long as we do this. I am not a contrarian. My opinions are genuine. I just have a lot of odd, strange opinions because I played goalie and got hit in the head a lot.
Hot take Nick, everybody. Hot take Nick. So listen.
Concussed take Nick.
Maybe encephalitis Nick. I hope not. But
whoa.
Anyway, CTE. So listen. Here's a fun trivia fact for you. In the first Tom Holland Spider-Man, when Spider-Man gets a concussion, the NFL sued Sony to keep that out of the film. So there was not a pop culture mention of concussions. Wild. Anyway, these guys are evil.
Here's a concussion factor. People want to ban fighting in hockey because of concussions, but Sidney Crosby, who's had only 3 fights in his whole career, has had 20 concussions. They don't come from fights, people.
They come from contact. But anyway, so no more Frusciante. Arik is in the band for the tours, and their star is rising. And similar to what's happening and what happens for the rest of the course of the Chili's career, is their go-to thing is to overproduce material, over-record material.
Yes,
and then pick the best songs, put those on the album, and then the leftovers either get lost to antiquity until they're leaked later, or they end up as B-sides. This is a thing from the 70s. I am convinced it has to do with Rick Rubin, who was like, every song you have, give it a chance, every idea. Not every idea is a good idea. You need to learn to self-edit. You should not be recording 30 songs for millions of dollars. You should be recording the best 10, not 17. But that's my opinion. That's what I would do if I was in the Chili Peppers. Meanwhile, some of these
I'm gonna buttress your point real quick. We have not had a complete Chili Peppers record.
Blood Sugar Sex Magic's a 9 with like 6 bad songs, but it's still a 9 because the other songs are so
agreed.
Good.
However, there's 18 songs.
It's too many. 17. It's too many.
I'm sorry. 7. One of the songs is 9.5 minutes.
Yeah,
it counts as 2.
Okay, fair.
18 songs.
Whatever, bro.
Look, just because I got the number wrong doesn't mean I'm giving this.
One of the songs, if you watch the Funky Monks documentary that was recorded for Blood Sugar Sex Magic and does not end up on the soundtrack, is Soul to Squeeze.
Okay, so Frusciante did play guitar on that.
He is the writer of Soul to Squeeze. He wrote the song, and he got a lot of money for it. That bought him a lot of schneef and heroin. So Soul to Squeeze ends up it was heard. The Funky Monks documentary is out on VHS. People have heard the song. They've talked about, also this band likes to talk about songs before they're released, and then those songs don't get released, so people feel teased inaccurately. Chad Smith is famous for this on the drums, where he'll give an interview and reference songs that never end up getting released that he liked in the demo stage. Okay. But he's bad at picking them ponies. But Soul to Squeeze ends up on a little movie soundtrack for a movie called The Coneheads. If you know 70s Saturday Night Live, you know that movie, you know that sketch made into a movie because that's all SNL has in this 90s.
Great sketch.
Bad
cartoon.
Yeah, not a good.
I'm sorry, good cartoon.
Oh,
bad movie.
I don't think it's a good cartoon either, actually.
No, you didn't like the cartoon?
No.
You know what? I liked it because it came out when I was 7.
Sure.
Maybe it would be different now.
But the soundtrack was fun, and Soul to Squeeze is on this, and they make a video for it. I believe it was directed by Dayton and Ferris, the famous married directing duo. Famous for Tonight. But yeah, great video. Incredible video, carnival theme. The song is very similar to I Could Have Lied without an F-bomb in it. It is The song,
better.
the
than
song
I Call a Lie.
overall is a 10 of 10, except for
Yes.
one thing. It is a magical song. It has my favorite bass line, arguably the second or third best bass line of all time. I'm going to throw the gauntlet down. Ramble On by Led Zeppelin, Orion by Metallica, and Soul to Squeeze by
I feel like
Chili
you left
Peppers.
out Money, but
I mean, there's a bunch. There's better bass lines than Money. Money's great. I think Pigs.
I'm just throwing. I'm just
You just
standing.
love Roger. You can't leave
Yeah,
him
I do.
out.
I
Got to
can't-
mention him
can't.
every episode.
Oh,
We're in
real
geek culture.
quick. My daughter has finally taken a side in the Pink Floyd battle. She has chosen her leader. Who is it?
David,
No.
Roger,
Still no.
Rick,
Nope.
Nick,
Nope.
Alan Parsons.
Nope.
Who?
Sid.
Really? That's not.
I don't
bad.
know I don't even know what to do with this.
That's your kid? You sure that's your kid?
I know.
You sure that's
I
your
don't-
kid?
She's being contrarian, I think.
Maybe. I wonder where she gets it from. Oh my God, your poor wife. Soul to Squeeze is phenomenal, but also gives us the greatest 1 minute nonsense gibberish lyric of all time. Now it's drum roll. It's time for Curtis Dunlap's moment to shine. What the hell? Nirvana did this, right? Where he just gibberished the lyrics. He's not the first person to ever do it. I feel like Paul Westerberg did this in The Replacement.
Thought he was scatting.
I don't know what he thought he was doing. I don't have words for this. I'm gonna just
Maybe that was what he put down on the demo, and he never wrote anything better. And oh
he
crap!
sang
Now he's
his
got to go
butt
on the
off on the
soundtrack.
song. The song is very sensitive and wonderful. The bass line's incredible. The guitar solo is beautiful. It's got like if Nick Cave wrote a Led Zeppelin ballad, it's like that heavy emotionally. It's a humongous #1 hit. It's their second #1 after Under the Bridge.
Crazily overplayed.
If you listen to rock radio, alternative rock radio in the 90s, but it's a huge hit. They have other songs. I can't pronounce this word, but it's like Sickaman and Nico on the Wayne's World soundtrack when they're driving in the Mirthmobile to Wayne and Cassandra. Like Chili Peppers have like a few handful of types of songs by now, from the very early days all the way even to the present day. And when they try to do the boogie rock, they do they do that like syncopated
Car chase rock.
Car chase, yeah, like Flintstones, Scooby-Doo music, rock. So they have a handful of B-sides that are also like very prominent on rock soundtracks. They did the infamous cover of Search and Destroy by Iggy Pop and the Stooges on the Beavis and Butthead Experience, which is badass. They used to close their shows with it. I saw them do this.
That was Love Roller Coaster.
Roller
I
Coaster is the Beavis
apologize.
and Butthead movie soundtrack.
Correct. I apologize.
I'm talking about the Beavis and Butthead Experience.
You're right. I got it wrong.
A different album. Beavis and Butthead Experience also has 99 Ways to Die.
Megadeth. Yep, I was going to say that.
Feed the Gods with a Z by White Zombie. With the White Zombie bass line.
We've gotten too off track. We're
not. This is
I mean,
if
earlier.
you were anybody in the early 90s of prominence, you had a song on one of these soundtracks. So
all of them.
Now here's the Chili Peppers. We're talking about like 1993, 1994. They don't have their band is in jeopardy. Flea
again
contemplates breaking the band up or quitting, because how will we ever top Blood Sugar Sex Magic? And they do a bunch of auditions, which Kiedis hates. They do the cattle call, which they all hate. They audition a bunch of people. None of them works. And they end up
the entire time they had a target.
Did they also have Jesse Tobias, who ends up in Alanis Morissette? They had Jesse Tobias for a hot minute.
He joined
for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, like 2 weeks. He did one photo shoot and he went, nope. He noped out of there.
There's a great Beavis and Butthead episode where they watched Taste the Pain. They were on Beavis and Butthead many times. I think they're watching either Higher Ground or Taste the Pain as a video, because Taste the Pain gets a video at this point on a re-release of Greatest Hits, capitalizing on the success of the album.
Hits? The What Hits records.
And so they're like, Beavis goes, hey, Butthead, how come the Chili Peppers have like a new guitar player every week? Or I think Butthead asked Beavis, and Beavis goes, well, I think what happens is Like Flea is over here, he's just rocking out, right? And then Kiedis is over here, he's awesome. And then the guitar player is like, well, screw this, I'm out of here. Like there's no room for the ego of a third person,
Of a
right?
guitar player. A guitar,
Yeah, especially for lead guitar players who are notorious, D-bags. And so they do get the guy they originally wanted. His band is now broken up and he's a free agent. And
he did it. Wait, hang on. He also did another band.
He had a band with Eric Avery.
Yes. Which I'm going to leave that alone because I think I'm going to do that on the other podcast I do.
Sure. We're talking about none other than Ink Master himself, Dave Navaro of Jane's Addiction.
He is.
Who I always thought was an overrated band, by the way.
Who, Jane's Addiction?
Overrated.
They
Couple
are.
good albums. He's a great guitar player. Perry is a genius.
I would argue
not a good singer.
They've got 1.5 great albums.
Yeah, that's exactly accurate. 1.5.
The first one, Ritual, is amazing. One of the greatest
Shocking
records.
Is okay.
That's the half. Half
and
of
a
that
handful of other songs I'll take, like the Entourage. I'll take that one.
Everything else was later. It doesn't count. So they got 1.5 good albums.
Yeah. So they get Dave Navaro.
Yeah. So Dave Navaro comes in, and Dave Navaro is the guy they had always wanted. Dave Navaro had always talked about this era in his life being in a very dark place and not wanting to do anything. I believe this was around the time his mother was murdered, or he was still going through it now. He was coming off heroin, I believe. I mean, he had a lot going on as well. Dave Navaro, for as well as he turned out and as alive as he still is, I'm really surprised considering where he was in 91, 92, 93 going into later, because he falls apart.
He has been through some horrible stuff, though, like stuff that most human beings couldn't live through.
I said the fact how alive he is is amazing, and I'm genuinely thankful. I think Dave Navaro is one of the most underrated guitar players and underused guitar players, but he also did it to himself on his solo record. He completely underused him. Yeah, he underused himself. He didn't trust himself. He was also
trusted no one, and not even himself. I love that record, and I love that reference because
I do not. He was also on the Heron. Lots of Heron that year.
A lot of Heron, and which is a curious choice to put him in a band with Kiedis, who up to this point has maintained mostly sobriety.
Well, no, he wasn't. He had gotten off the Heron. He was sober.
And then he got back on
during this tour.
After Frusciante is out,
yeah,
Kiedis goes back.
No, but Navaro was clean.
Navaro was clean, and he gets dirty again.
Yeah, so basically,
I don't mean to take it lightly. Like, drug addiction's a terrible thing, and
all we can do is take it lightly, because it's just. I
take it lightly because it didn't happen to us. That's why.
I take it lightly because we still have them. They made it.
I'm glad they're alive.
And but
Halail is gone, and it really haunts every album and everything that Flea and Kiedis do forever is that Halail's ghost. That would be a really great name for a band, by the way. Halail's Ghost.
No, that's ghoulish.
I'm
just gonna move. I'm gonna get the train moving forward.
You take the baton and you run, Usain Bolt. You run.
Okay, I'm a little short and white for that, but thank you. I appreciate that, and chubby. So I got the trifecta of why I can't be Usain Bolt. So, and slow. Stop. I'm a quadrophenia. I'm stopping. So, what do we do in the music industry if something works? We do it again. So, who comes in to make the Red Hot Chili Peppers the most amazing selling alternative grunge band, even though they're not grunge or part of that scene by any stretch, though they're lumped in? We discussed that earlier. So Rick Rubin comes in, boom, megastar. So what do? Bring him back. How do the Chili Peppers write songs? They jam them out. That's what they do. And I think that's really important if you think about it for their sobriety, because they can all stare at each other while they're in the creative process, because falling off a great trigger, in my humble opinion, to fall off the wagon is trying to be creative. That is where you find so many people that have fallen into that trap. However, the person they have brought into the band, Dave Navaro, does not want to do that. So there's no jamming on this record. They write songs, they come together.
I think they tried.
I think they attempted it, and he's like, why are we doing this?
He didn't understand it. And those three guys are locked in now. They played all over the world. They reached their final form of greatness musically, and they just need to come with any record they would have made would have been disappointing. Any record, if they made another 10 of 10, it still wouldn't have been the one before. So this is the curse of being super successful is you have to live up to that curse.
Not Iron Maiden, I apologize. Pink Floyd drops Dark Side of the Moon. They come back with Wish You Were Here. Wish You Were Here is a failure by comparison because it only sold 6 million copies. Fleetwood Mac drops Rumors. It sells 30 million copies. I'm throwing out Phenomenon bands. Phenomenon is 30 plus. Then they drop Tusk, which sells 4 million. Failure. Metallica drops the Black Album, 1,100 million records. They come back with Load, like 5 million. Even though these albums are highly successful, highly profitable, they're failures in comparison. So when you have that phenomenon, you go to one of two ways. You repeat or you retreat. You either do the same thing or you go somewhere else. Well,
and if you don't have the same lineup again, you have to go somewhere else because you can't recreate what Frusciante. Frusciante is such a weird anomaly artist. You can approximate him, but you can't really do what he does in an original way. And so I love Dave Navarro's guitar playing. And as Flea said in the Behind the Music, you could not conceive a greater rock star dude than Dave Navarro. But he's not John Frusciante.
Absolutely correct. I'm sorry. I'm trying to bring up the track list. I should have done this sooner.
I have it ready.
Okay. I will let you lead the track. So you just name the track and I'll go.
Sure.
But so yeah, they end up doing something very different, very anomalous. This is their Load. This is their Tusk.
That is that's such a good analogy. We should almost stop the show and right there. I mean, we're not going to do any better than that right there. But anyway, you're not wrong.
Hey, I'm setting shit up on purpose.
I know. They do like releasing records in September. This came out again right before my birthday in September of 1995.
I remember when this came out, the first single they dropped, and we might as well go into the track by track because we are there. First track they drop is Warped. And Warped is different. Warped is not fun.
You think so?
No, it's not fun.
You think it's not a fun track?
I love it, but it's not fun.
I love 4 minutes and 15 seconds of it.
The first 30 seconds you don't need.
You don't need that either. But I get it's the start of an album, so it's an intro track. You know what it is. They knew that. Warped. So in the last record, some of the critics referred to the Chili Peppers as having metal passages in their songs, which I don't hear at all on Blood Sugar Sex Magic. You 1000% have metal riffs. I
don't hear them even on this record.
Oh, I do.
It's not funk, but it's not. I don't know.
It's hard rock.
We'll fight it out.
I think Warped Rift is metal. It's pretty damn Black Sabbathy to me, but that's just me.
At 20 times the speed.
Yeah, this song is an ode to Kiedis's. This whole record is really Kiedis relapses and his guilt about relapsing,
and his disappointment that nobody in the band noticed he relapsed.
Well, yes,
there's a lot going on.
Very sad. So Warped, you don't like? I think it's
no. I love it.
Oh, you just said it wasn't good.
No, I said it wasn't fun.
Oh, it wasn't fun, but it's good.
It's great. It's amazing. It's
that last minute I could have did the Led Zeppelin, the Ocean ending is what I like to call it, which is one of my favorite Led Zeppelin songs, by the way. But that ending that is tacked on, it sounds tacked on. This sounds tacked on.
It happens.
Next track is the very fun and quirky Aeroplane.
Aeroplane is a clown with tears painted on his face.
Kind of. What do you think of Aeroplane? I guess you just
Oh my God, another thunderous song. We get some great wah-wah from Dave. I remember the video, and man, he was sexy as hell in that video. He just, I mean, completely did not fit with them.
He's a
He's there.
shockingly attractive person.
Oh, I know. Still, he looks the exact
Yeah, he's
same.
like has not aged
I don't know
despite
if
the
he's the,
heroin.
I don't know if he has the best plastic surgeon the world has ever known, and he's paying
Possible.
this man on the down low, so he works for no one else, or if he's a vampire, or maybe he's Keanu Reeves. There's something going on that needs to be investigated. We'll leave it at that. But he, as you put it in the behind the music, Flea says, you want a great rock star, dude? Here he is. So here we got big shirtless Rod with his amazing black hair, the perfect Van Dyke. It's not a goatee because it has the mustache. And he's got his nipples pierced, which I pierced
Incredible
mine.
tattoos.
Yeah, I pierced mine not long after this video.
No shit,
Quite
really?
honestly. Yes, I did.
I did not know this. I did not need to know this, but
I
okay then.
used to have several piercings.
Prince Albert? You got a Prince Albert also?
Don't ask about my penis.
Kind of
No.
just did though.
No.
We're already there. Let's go.
No,
Yay or nay, Prince Albert?
I said no 5
Yeah.
times. Hell no. No, no needles.
Nick's penis, everybody. Nick's penis. All right.
Wow, thank you. I have to apologize for this one now too.
Airplane. I'm just gonna add that Flea hated this song from the jump. He did not like this.
He can eat his own butt. This song's amazing.
I think it's a great song. Rubin was like, you got to do the thumpity thumb thing. And he's like, I don't want to do the thumb thing anymore. I stopped. I didn't want to do it even on the last record. The Aeroplane bass line is so good. The whole song is good. We got his daughter and her first grade class singing the outro.
Could have left that out, but
yeah, but the chorus, My Aeroplane by Aeroplane, the chorus is great.
The whole thing,
the video was, you said the video was fun. I agree.
The whole thing is Kiedis putting a smile. It's the mask he's wearing in front of everybody, and it's amazing nobody noticed. Truly amazing. I mean, maddening that nobody noticed.
That's fair. I have no other notes. Do you?
Just wanted to say that this, when you go, I wanted to finish my point because we got dreamy-eyed over Dave Navaro for good reason. When you want, if you ever go back and watch this video, it's a traditional Chili Peppers video. It's ridiculous. It's overtly sexual in a crazy way. You have women hitting their own butts with ping pong paddles. Still have not figured that out. You've got sequined stewardesses, children dressed as airplanes. I mean, it is the quintessential Red Hot Chili Peppers video. And those three guys are living it, reveling in it, and doing it. And then you go to the stage right or stage left, and there's big shirtless Rod going, I don't know, man. And he doesn't look like he belongs. That's the first inkling.
Fair enough. The third track is the overly long but interesting song Deep Kick. Why does this song have a Jack Kerouac, William Burroughs opening poem by Kiedis? Why does it have another tacked on outro?
You know what the thing about this 7-minute track is? There's 3.5 great killer minutes.
The song proper is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the beginning or the end that much.
Except for when Flea starts singing. I'm sorry, I love Flea. I know he wants to sing. I know Flea wants to sing, but
singing a little too much on this record in general.
A little much.
That whole I'll tell you this, the lyrics are funny. Like Flea's part of the song is funny.
Yeah.
We did some, I remember 10 years ago in Hollywood, we did some good, but we did some very, very bad stuff. It's hilarious. You got to give him a little bit of a dap for that one.
Lyrics, yes. However, I don't need as much Flea vocals on this.
He's doing he loves his favorite musician ever is Louis Armstrong. So he's kind of doing a Jimmy Durante, Louis Armstrong kind of vibe at the end. It's unnecessary.
Okay. Yes, it is.
The song rocks though. And also, again, pretty metal, punk and metal riffs. And, a song about his Kiedis' addiction, and Kiedis' rapping comes back.
The title Deep Kick is also great.
It is for a multitude of reasons. Deep Kick is a great title. Moving on to the fourth track and perhaps the fight of the episode coming up from me and Nicholas. My friends are so depressed. I think this song is incredible. here's the backstory you didn't need to know, but I read this in a guitar magazine many moons ago. Before the recording of this, Flea went on a vacation, as he likes to do before he goes into record. He took Clara, his daughter, on a vacation to Australia. And he's sitting on a beach in Australia with an acoustic guitar, and he's ruminating on the last few years of his life and how he kind of wanted to end the band because he can't conceive of the band being any better than it just was. And he misses Halil and he misses John. And he starts to play that opening. There's a little bass note that actually opens My Friends. You don't remember it when in history, but then I heard it like 20 times this week and I was like, boom, bass note that actually opens the song. But that little couplet of guitar on the 12 string that actually opens My Friends, that's Flea's good. This is Flea's song. I know it's credited to the whole band. Flea wrote this. And then Kiedis heard it and was like, oh, that's going to be the song about me letting down everybody by going back on the drugs. And I think this is a very heartfelt, beautiful sequel to Under the Bridge, which you should not have a sequel when you make the greatest song of your life that was written by a weird mutant genius who's not in the band anymore. You should not try to make a sequel, but without trying to make a sequel, they made a sequel. And I think My Friends is a top tier Chili Pepper song. They have barely ever played it live. Nick hates it, and he's going to tell you why.
To begin with, my old friend Mark, My Friends is the reason why he stopped liking the Chili Peppers. I think that is a bit much, personally. It's a bit much, but he was going to trade me his copy of One Hot Minute for my copy of Song Remains the Same on CD, but the Song Remains the Same was 2 discs, so I didn't want to make that swap, so I ended up selling it to the Record Exchange for $3. I missed the mark on that one. Just going to throw that out there. But it's just not good. I'm not a big fan of the Chili Peppers ballads to begin with. I've always talked about the perfect song theory, how every band gets one perfect song. You can argue amongst yourselves as to what the Red Hot Chili Peppers perfect song is. I don't know that I have that answer. Actually, no, I do. Mine is By the Way. But if you break it down farther and get to their ballads, I think the Chili Peppers have a very strong level of diminishing returns on their ballads. So you have Under the Bridge, which is basically their first ballad. That is a god tier song. That is nailed everything, no notes. They come back with Breaking the Girl. They're trying to Chili Peppers up a Led Zeppelin idea. That doesn't work for me. Then they bounce it back with Soul to Squeeze, which, as we discussed earlier, is amazing. Then they go back to the ballads with My Friends. I love the lyrics. I love Anthony's performance. The music I found to be very uninspiring. And the ingredients are there, but they didn't cook it right.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Now to the 5th track on the album, Coffee Shop. Back to the sexual stuff, back to the funk a little bit. How do you feel about Coffee Shop? 3 minutes and 8 seconds of a nothing burger, as Nick would say, in my opinion. But what do you think?
Yeah. I mean, what did we need it? No. That's that. If we're gonna start cutting crap off the record, this I understand why My Friends is there. My Friends is there to go. That's the hit Fisher. Coffee Shop. You know what? You can just that's not even the brisket. That's collagen. Cut it out.
I'm pretty sure the whole purpose of this song is to rhyme coffee shop with Iggy Pop, which is cool, but not necessary.
This record is about 70 minutes.
And here's 308 you could get rid of.
Well, we've identified so far about 9 minutes you could cut out of this record.
Yeah, Aeroplane I wouldn't take anything off of. The other two songs I would have trimmed considerably.
Deep Kick, there's a lot of fat on Deep Kick.
Intro and outro on Deep Kick and Warped both can go. Number 6, I'm a Little P, aka P. Flea solo bass and vocal. A weird track in the middle of a rock album, but Flea, it's his band, and he can
what I love
once.
I love it when a non-vocalist puts a track out on a record and they sing one, and it's like that thing. You're like, yeah, here we go. We got something different. Not this time. Love the
Apparently, yeah,
love the lyrics. Love
yeah,
the meaning. We could have had. I did not stick the landing.
yeah. I do like the lyrics. You homophobic redneck blank, and I'm a
Big and tough and
pacifist,
macho.
but I can blank your shit up and all that. I like all that, but it's like unnecessary.
Completely.
And he played it in concert when I saw them. I was like, why?
Same.
Why?
Same. He was wearing underpants singing this song, and it's
Yep,
like,
basically.
you know what? The visage I'm seeing of this tiny little man in just underpants singing this song is creepy.
Now here's a song next that ends up being an underground hit among fans. This is the surprisingly much loved One Big Mob. Oh yeah, as the
Do
chorus
not do
goes.
that. Do not do that, or I'm gonna end up doing my dance, and I can't. That dance is
It's
private.
a back to the Chili's early albums funk songs.
Whenever I hear this song, they get to the oh yeah, and I'm feeling the tingles in my arms. I have a dance I do to that just one line.
Interesting.
Yes, it's weird.
It's a little too long.
No,
6 minutes. I didn't need
no.
this.
We
6 minute
finally
long.
have something fun.
It is fun.
You know what? Everything else
And
has been
F is the
depressing.
operative letter of the alphabet. The Chili Peppers like the letter F.
Yes, they do. This song is fun. It's bouncy. Dave doesn't ruin it because this is the. Let's be real. Did he do anything good on this song?
I mean, he's part of the song. He made the song.
You didn't know you didn't. Did he do anything good?
Not now standing.
Okay. Could he have ruined it
Totally.
easily? Look, love you, Dave. This is my favorite record. This is my favorite Chili's record. Really is.
That's weird.
Honestly is.
We're gonna talk about why that's weird, but all right.
I know why it's weird. It's not.
You
it's
don't like My
weird.
Friends, and this is your favorite Chili's record. That's
It's
shocking.
weird for everybody but me. This is on brand for me.
Fair enough. Moving along.
Moving on. Flipping the record if you're me.
Walkabout. This is their attempt to remake Mellowship Slinky. It's literally the same song almost.
You know what? Here's what I'll say about Walkabout. It's a song. They do some cool new school rapping, rhyming. Is it necessary? No. Had they written this and maybe switched out some other tracks on Blood Sugar Sex Magic with this one? Again, we're looking at a really long record, and when I'm very much on record with you go 30 to 45 or you go 65 to 80. This weird middle ground, and the Chili Peppers are really bad at self-editing. And apparently they can't find a producer that can edit them either.
They love that guy because he indulges their indulgences.
This is the band that's now putting out double records twice a year. And I have them.
You shouldn't have.
I like them.
Could have had 4 single-sided metal records.
Yeah, because I don't have enough of those.
Walkabout I could live without.
Could live without, but do enjoy.
Number 9, Tearjerker. If you're going to write a song about Kurt Cobain, A, don't. B, don't write this one. Make it better. This is also in the vein of My Friends. This is another ballad. It's very nondescript and boring. I like the lyrics, and he's talking directly to and at and about Kurt Cobain, and he felt like it was fresh. He just died half a year before this record was made and came out. And I understand that it was emotional for Kiedis to talk about another person who lost their life, not because of addiction, but to addiction, but vis-a-vis addiction and other issues. But his song is not good.
No, it's not. It's if you're gonna write a song that is in tribute to, and I don't like this word, an icon. The worst thing you could do is make it forgettable. I have listened to this album a grand total of 687 times. 5 times in the past month. My kid has demanded we stop listening to the Red Hot Chili Peppers. She's over them now. She's heard it too much. I don't remember this song. Nothing. It is a blank spot. So you know what you did in a tribute to an icon? You wasted your time. You wasted my time. So far, the second side is Dudley. This is Dudley Do Wrong. Dead air.
I'm here. I know. Sorry, I'm trying to fix my screen. Is jacked up.
Oh,
Jacked up on Mountain Dew, Chip. I'm gonna come at you like a spider monkey, Chip.
I've never seen that movie. I don't like Will Ferrell movies.
I know you don't like Will Ferrell. So
We
there are
skipped
4
one.
songs left on this record, and 2 of them are good.
We didn't do "Shallow Be Thy Game."
That's coming soon, not yet.
Oh, I must be looking. Okay, sorry.
The next track and the title track of the record is One Hot Minute. If Black Sabbath smoked a bunch of doobs with Parliament Funkadelic, this would be that song they would make as a result. I think this is a great song. I love the main riff. I like the lyrics. Kind of dirty, pervy. I anytime Kiedis's element is, the lower quadrant of a female, and so
it's Ice-T Land. So
not unfair, but I'm gonna tell you that it's a badass song. Musically, it's fun. It's tight.
Just gonna say, Coco, if you're listening, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Coco. Another nondescript non-banger is Falling Into Grace. Could have left it off the island.
I like Falling Into Grace. It's the hook is memorable enough, and that's something. I mean, I feel like that's something we should talk about more often with this band, that everybody should, is that they're a hooky band. And when you talk about rock and metal and all that kind of stuff, what we cover most of the time, hooks are not really a thing.
Well, the reason they're popular is they're good at writing. They make catchy songs and are great at writing memorable choruses. Whoever that is, usually Frusciante, but they have, even this album has its share of good ones.
Correct.
Now the song you wanted to get to, Shallow Be Thy Game, somehow a single. I'm not sure why. It's an okay song. It's okay.
No. Again, another blank spot for me on this one.
This song has never been performed live in the US, and I'm not sure why they put it out as a single then. Because that clearly the band wasn't into it either.
That's not that uncommon.
And then the final track on the album proper is a song called Transcending, which is an exceptional song. It is another tribute song, this time to their friend River Phoenix, who they wrote Give It Away a little bit about. He's mentioned in a whole verse dedicated to him. This song is actually about him and about his death. Again, another Kiedis with his multiple issues. I think this is a very good track and a great album ender. So out of 13 songs, you got about 6 really good ones, 3 great ones. But yeah, just difficult.
Let's get a final. Okay, this is a 62-minute record,
more or less.
I'm looking at the numbers. 61:14. 61:14 is how many sides?
3 or 4.
3 sides. A side is 20.
You love 3-sided records.
I do not. I hate them.
Talk about them all the time.
I do.
Can I mention for a second, and as I said, just like the last record, there are a bunch of extra tracks, none very descript.
I have not heard any of them.
Bob is about Bob Forrest, the famous drug counselor who does get Kiedis clean ultimately. And there's a lot of great backing musicians on this record. I just want to take a second to shout out. In addition to Keith Barry on the violin on Tearjerker, Lenny Castro is one of the greatest jazz percussionists ever to live, is on half this record playing congos. Amy Echo from the metal bands Human Waste Project and The Start sings backup vocals on One Hot Minute and One Big Mob. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Don't.
There's a chant on Falling Into Grace, but I'm not sure why. John Lurie of the Lounge Lizards plays harmonica on One Hot Minute. Stephen Perkins from Jane's Addiction does percussion on One Big Mob, Warped, and Bob. Kristen Vigard is on backing vocals. Navaro's brother is crying on One Big Mob, or maybe it's his son. The Aeroplane Kids includes Clara Balizzari Flea's daughter, who's now a grown-up person, a famous photographer and former model. Rick Rubin again producing. Dave Sardi on mixing. He himself is a great album producer, produced Slayer. Mark Ryden did the artwork, which I'm a fan of. It's like very post-modernist, post-depression era album artwork that almost looks vaudevillian, like a poster. I like it. But yeah, this record was going to fail anyway. No matter what it did, it was
correct. It was a guaranteed failure.
And that, beside the point, it's also a fail. Beside the fact that it was destined to fail, it also failed.
No.
I think it failed a little bit. I know you love this record. I think this record is legitimately not a good, should not have been put out.
I would say a good third. This, and as mentioned earlier, and we're gonna stop here. We're gonna do quick. Actually, we got to move quickly. We're going long, so this record I would give it an 8.5 out of 10. My personal favorite.
Let's just do this. We'll shoot to the end. I'll sum up the rest of their career in literally a 30-second anecdote after this. Let's just do the tiers, right? So clearly, Blood Sugar Sex Magik is their A tier, is the S.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
This record's a solid B despite the weakness.
Agreed.
They don't have enough, and maybe Mother's Milk is also a B.
Agreed.
And for me personally, it's an A, but it's a B for everyone else. Their other records to this point are not good.
C's at best.
Best a C. If they stop being a band at this point, are they a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame band?
Yes.
Are they a Hall of Fame worthy band?
Yes.
You think so?
Yes.
I think
the fact that they were able to basically swap out members like a hockey team
and
maintain quality, even though their quality wasn't always, again, the self-editing is the issue. They were able to maintain a quality. They were able to maintain an image and a style, even though what have there been 9 guitar players at this point, 3 drummers. So 9 plus 3 is 12, 14. 2 divided by 14 is about 13%. Only 13% of the members of the band have been there the whole time.
Shocking.
And yet they are able to maintain a sound, a style, an image. And they nailed, and they hit it real big.
Yeah, they hit it hugely big. Now I'll say this. They have 3 other records that are hugely regarded, big hits, bigger hits than Blood Sugar Sex Magik, right?
Before you get there, what I will just say is, for me, in terms of quality, we're at the zenith. That's why I say they're still a Hall of Fame band at this point.
I don't think so, and I'll tell you why really quick. I think because honestly, at this point now, Blood Sugar Sex Magik seems like a fluke. They have 2 B albums, and honestly, this record is borderline a C. Especially if you hate My Friends, it doesn't make any sense.
I don't make sense.
Okay, you hate it. If they don't have My Friends, it's worse, right? And their biggest hit records are still to come because they have 3 more records that have outsold Blood Sugar Sex Magik.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't either till literally I was this week years old. So Californication is next. A few years later, Navaro out, Frusciante back in. They stay with Rick Rubin like Metallica stays with Bob Rock. They stay with him for a long time. They try to get rid of him. They try to bring in Daniel Lanois, and Flea has this idea that they're going to make like a Zooropa album like U2. Horrible idea. Glad it didn't work. Oh my God. And by Californication, Stadium Arcadium, and by the way, I think that's the wrong order, but those 3 have outsold.
By the way, then Stadium.
Yeah, have outsold Blood Sugar Sex Magik. I don't necessarily think those are all great records. I think in hindsight, Californication deserves all its plaudits. It's excellent, but they changed radically. They couldn't have had those records without this record. This record failed as a sort of heavy rock, funk rock metal record. They go way the other way in the future, and it makes them big stars because they do this middle of the road balladry stuff that they love.
Hard right turn.
Hard right turn, and it's the thing that makes them viable commercially much more than they have been. in the
Agreed.
vein of Under the Bridge. They go way hard on the Under the Bridge type songs and Breaking the Girl to your
Yeah,
dismay. And
as I
my
saw,
friends.
as I saw on the tour for Californication.
Like if Can't Stop is the hardest, best rocking song they have after this, that's whack. That's really whack. They don't really have another banger ever again that I know of. Maybe you
There's a
know.
couple on the long ones. I don't know any of the names, but
And then I'm really
they
not
never go
familiar
as
with the
hard. They never go as
records.
hard as anything like
Honestly,
One
like
Hot
the
Minute.
Getaway is not a good record, and I'm really not familiar with the rest of their stuff. And I tried
Getaway
to
is
listen to the two new ones, and they were both way
the
underwhelming.
Getaway is okay. It's not. I'll tell you this
Californication is probably what put them over the top as a Hall of Fame band.
completely. I'll give you that.
I
I'll
read
say
a
this
Chuck
much.
Klosterman article about it, and he was like, "This is the thing that's gonna people are gonna remember that album, not this one." And you know,
There's
Scar Tissue is a great song, and Kiedis named his biography after it,
it is
but
a
it's
great
not
song.
rocking. They really are not
No,
that band anymore.
no. I'll say this: Californication, Stadium Arcadium. By the way, those records did amazingly well. I don't care if I ever have them.
Definitely don't want to have them.
I mean, the
Zephyr
only
Song is a badass song. That's on the one after that, the next one.
well, at this point in time, they take the hard right turn to go to commercial viability. They take the hard left turn to always think about California, and I don't really relate to that, just because that's it's your only mindset. Okay,
I live
a
in
little dull.
California, and I don't want to hear any songs about California ever again.
Well, there you go. So I got nothing else this week.
Me neither. I think it's your turn to take us home.
Is it?
I don't remember.
All righty.
You
Thank you
just
very
do
much.
it.
All right. Thanks everybody for checking in with us this week. One hot minute, controversial, other words that end in things. Thank you very much for listening. There are literally millions of podcasts and YouTube shows in this world. The fact that you took some time out of your day, out of your week to check us out is humbling and delightful. I hope you come back. I hope you love this. We're going to do more series, more bands, more chasers, more ridiculousness, more beers, more cheers, no fears. Because Anthony has no fear. An aeroplane. I always change those words to wear no fear shirts. But thank you very much for joining us this week. As always, you can catch all the great news, reviews, and interviews at ghostcultmag.com. You can at Ghost Cult Mag on all the socials. You can get with me at glacially_musical on Facebook, at glacially_musical on Instagram, or on Twitter for however much longer we have it, at NIK_NO_C, at Nick No C. And with that, I say thank you very much. This has been the Glacially Musical Podcast. It does not play in Peoria,